Hello, welcome to Arcade Couch, best place to chill with friends and get your game goodness each and every Monday. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here. Hard to believe we're only a month away for Nintendo Switch 2.
That is right.
If only somebody had some sort of experience with it that could talk to us about it.
Yahoo! Also here, Kieran Marchant.
Guys, GTA 6, all right? New trailer. Who cares about Nintendo? They can't. It's not going to feature on Nintendo.
Let's talk about a
GTA.
game that's, instead of talking about a console that's like 1 month away, let's talk about a game that's going to come out in like 12 months. Where are the important details?
13 months more like it.
Yeah. Is it in May?
It's May next year,
Yeah, okay.
I'll do you one better. We'll talk about both these things on this week's episode of Arcade Couch.
Oh! This is why you come and listen to Arcade Couch.
You see that segue? You see that? You see it? All right, yeah, so we were touching on all that. Firstly, though, Nintendo Switch. I went and played the Nintendo Switch 2 experience in Melbourne.
You won in the lottery?
No. So on Friday, it was a media-only session. So it was a very weird mixed bag of people. So Saturday and Sunday was the lottery people. So you could put your name into the hat, and then you could get drawn into to attend it over the weekend. So hopefully those people are having a good time at the moment. Friday was media only. It was like they had name tags when you walked in, and so you could sort of see everyone else that's going there. It was a mix of gaming press, normal press, including like all the news stations were there, but then also there was people there from like Target, Harvey Norman.
Or like retail people.
There was a lot of retailers there. I assume invited to just come check out the device. Yeah, so that was the mix of people that were there on that day. Content creators, of course, mix of content creators as well. Sorry. Yeah, so checked it out. They sort of staggered people in, so there was always a session, or there was at least 20 people, I guess, leaving every half an hour from once they kicked it off. So my session went from between 1:30 to 5:30, 4 hours of Switch time. Got to play a bunch of games, which I'll go through in a minute. But I'll just say, firstly, when I get there, spot Paul James, Play 2, Drew Agnew, House of Mario, there with his co-host as well. And Drew's like, just because Kieran was shit talking a minute ago, Drew's like, "Oh, you here by yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, just." He's like, "Oh, like Kieran, do you want to come down?" I was like, "Why would I even ask him? You know, he'll just be coming in here shitting on it all day."
This is crazy. This is the second thing today that I didn't get asked about. Not even a question. Not even a query.
We could have had an objective voice. That would have been
not
very
even a query question.
To be fair, there wasn't a +1, but I never even attempted to see if I could get.
Not even a query. Not even a hey. If I could, would you? I'd be like, you know what? I'd find a way.
We sitting there talking, playing the games. You're like, man, this game's pretty cool and all, but it'll be so much better.
No. Look, I have a history, right? I have a history. I would have walked out of that place pre-ordering the thing.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true.
That's 100%, right? Like, that's what it is.
That's true.
Damn.
That's true. Yeah. I was like, hey, it's a PC gamer, you know, like maybe the mouse controls can turn him, which we'll get to the mouse controls. So first thing I'll walk through sort of how it goes once you walk in the door. They have everyone as they enter play Mario Kart World first, non-negotiable. That is the first game you have to play. So it's very much like they want you to. That's your first Switch 2 experience is Mario Kart World, which is totally fair. They had it. Why is that not totally fair?
I mean, there seems like a very obvious choice for a first Switch game experience.
Don't even joke.
Right there.
Don't even joke.
You would think.
Don't even mess around. So
I guess it's just for like the general pop people who are there.
So you play that, and then after that, you got let into the rest of the main area they had set up there in Centerpiece, which was, and you could at that point you could walk around and play every single game that you want. So I played as well as Mario Kart World, which I played 3 times. I think I went back. Actually, no, 4 times? Oh no. So there's also I played Donkey Kong Bonanza, Super Mario World Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 editions, Kirby in the Forgotten Land plus Starcross World. I played Welcome to It, which Ash is hinting at. I played with the GameCube controllers. I played Dragon Drive, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Cyberpunk 2077, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Bravely Default, Flying Fairy HD Remaster, and Hades 2. And then these other games I saw were there, but I didn't get around to playing, which were Street Fighter 6 One More Round, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Hogwarts Legacy, which I wouldn't have played, and Split Fiction, which I wouldn't have played because I still haven't played it properly. So 2 of those I was like, I'm not touching. The other 2 I was hoping to get to, and I just ran out of time. So right, console itself. Let's just start with the thing. It's a Switch. Obviously, it's an iterative console. It's a sequel console. So you pick it up, you look at like you straight away like this is a Switch. It's larger screen. Like I think you noticed that straight away that the screen is obviously larger than the past ones. It definitely feels, especially in a world where I had my Steam Deck in my bag. It feels more like picking up and holding one of the PC handhelds now, with the screen size being much larger. It doesn't feel heavier though, which it feels lighter than the PC handhelds for sure. So that's still a positive. It's because those things are, whether it's the Steam Deck or the Asus ROG or whatever you want, they're hefty
They're
things
hefty.
to take around, you know. So this is still the slimness of the Switch and stuff. Huge positive straight away. Those fucking magnetic Joy-Cons, time will tell if they fuck up over 9, 12 months or years down the line or whatever. But I'm telling you right now, getting those things off, and because every time you played a game where you had to play with the Joy-Cons off, the people there would make you put the wrist straps on, of course, because that's like the whole thing.
So no one's stealing them. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's. So every time you had to attach the, you take the Joy-Cons on, and you had to attach the thing with the wrist straps on them. But because that part, you know how in the current Switch they like slide in to the thing from the top, like. They
they have to go on the rails, like the runner.
Yeah, the rails. Yeah, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Rails. These ones are just clip on magnetically. It's fucking super easy. That was like straight away. So it's like taking the Joy-Cons off. You touch that little button on the back. They just tap off. You know, magnets gone. I don't know how it works. Don't know how I hold up, but appreciate how easy that is to use for sure. Obviously, I could see the C. I could see the C button there, but there was no games there where you was like using the chat function, or there was no one like exploring how the chat function or chat menu works. So I saw it. I saw the C button in person. It's on the console. Can't tell you much more than that. One of my main negatives though would be no OLED after years of getting used to playing which is
Switch. Wild, because obviously they've obviously made the decision. No, it's because they've specifically would have made the decision. It's either 2 things, right? It's either to keep costs down as well, but then also they know that in 12 months' time they can release the OLED version.
Mm-hmm. They will 100% do an OLED version, but it's just a cost thing for a launch. Like,
yeah, absolutely. They saw the cost of everything else going up, and they're like, we need to cut somewhere. And I heard it's not terrible. Like,
yeah, it's not terrible
for an LCD screen. It's like
it's very bright. It's definitely very bright for an LCD screen. I don't have the specs in front of me to tell you how many nits or anything it is, but it's definitely bright. But as far as like vibrancy of colors, it didn't look as like it's just that whole thing. If I'm used to looking at OLED screens for most of what I do, like on my TV, it's on Switch or the Steam Deck's OLEDs, you know, like all these different things, and then playing that, it's like I notice a difference. I'm not saying it looked bad. I'm just like,
so you've been spoiled by incredible screens that you can't appreciate this slightly better, slightly less than good screen.
I don't know if that's exactly what I was saying, but that's fine.
That's what I heard.
As far as spec stuff that is exciting though, instantly, as soon as I saw Mario Kart World, and then this followed through to every other single game I played, it looks substantially better. I could tell the difference. Like the character details on in Mario Kart World, I could already see lots of stuff there that was not there before. There is the texture level on the characters. Instantly, my brain just was like, that looks way better than the last Mario Kart. Carry that through to the frame rate. everything now running at a minimum of 60, game changing.
Yeah.
It is shocking. Playing, so like I played 15 minutes of the Zelda games in handheld mode, which I think was running at 120, or at least it was definitely running like high, like it was running at a higher thing because or it was at least running at 60 plus. It felt higher than that to me. I can't say for sure, but like that already, it looks exactly the same to me. I honestly couldn't see any visual differences really, but like the feeling of it so much smoother. Like Link's little legs were moving in ways I've never been able to see those little legs move before, if you know what I'm saying. And I hope you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I think the difference between like watching the trailers for Mario Kart World and stuff and actually just seeing that in person, and then within 5 seconds my brain just going, oh, this looks so much better, like in real persons, in real life, was good. I think that'll help because obviously I think there's different types of people that they've got to like market this console for, I guess. And if you've got the people that are like, take out everyone who's already going to buy it, all the hardcore Nintendo fans and whatnot, you sort of then I think they're now having to target it towards a demographic of people who've picked up Steam Decks and stuff, like to get them back on board. And they're still trying to target it towards the people who maybe buy Nintendo consoles every now and then. Like, I don't know, maybe like they're sort of targeting it towards your Kieran's. Like, how do you win a Kieran over in this battle? You know, sort of thing. And I think the thing is, it has to be a game, because I think, as much as Kieran goes on about the SSD and all this hoobla that I don't think he actually needs, the
hoobla.
The load times were fine, man. I don't know why
it just no, I'm not getting into it. Go on, carry on.
I think it's just a game that there needs to be a game, a first party game, obviously not a third party, because you're not playing anything that you could play anywhere else on the Switch for you. There needs to be a game that's a system seller for someone like you. And I think by the time you went to play it, you'd be like, even you would be like, oh no, this feels and looks so much better.
The thing is, there's like, yeah, I don't know. It's always like the thing, like, let's be frank, like I'm going to end up with one. Whether it is like the week of launch, like it's whatever it is, like, because I will want to play Mario Kart with you guys. Like I will want to play Mario Kart with people. I want to be able to experience Nintendo first party games. That's simple and honest truth. Do I? What I want is, and this is the thing where, and it's all I care about with Nintendo. And if Nintendo just showed that they were doing better, then I'd probably just cut them some slack. Is that like I just need to see Nintendo gives a fuck. Like it's the same thing about the arrogance of PlayStation we've spoken about. It's the same thing as, like, you know, if the next Pokemon game is out of this world and they've actually, you can see that they've made an attempt at improving and growing and changing, fuck yeah, all support for it. It's just the fact that I have too much of this opinion or built up view of Nintendo that's like, they know that no matter what they put out, it's going to sell, so they don't need to push the limits. You know, it's why Tears of the Kingdom made me go buy an OLED Switch, because that game looked like it was excelling. That game looked like it was pushing boundaries and doing amazing things with it. But, you know, at the moment, like, it's like I don't see anything in particular that does that for the Switch 2, because I don't think the Switch 2 is launching with enough things that make the Switch 2 a must. It's the same thing as when the PlayStation 5 released, and it was like, or is it PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4? Where it was like the first year was kind of barren. It was kind of like
that's both.
That's both. Where it's like, where it's kind of barren. Where it was like, I could have just chilled and waited for this because there's nothing over the top special coming out for this. But at least PlayStation had your Astrobots, you know, like it had those early titles where you could see the potential. I kind of almost needed this to launch with a 3D Mario game. What you need, the game you're talking about, it is Mario Kart World. It is. I'm telling you right now that like I think the trailers and stuff aren't doing it as much of a justice as to how much of a step up this actually is compared to other ones, and how much you can not look and play this game and then go, oh, this would be a Switch game. That is the game that out of all the ones I played, you're like, this is a Switch 2 game. So dive into this a little bit. 20 players, right? You got the multiple modes. The main one, the one that we're all going to be playing consistently and everyone's going to be playing, is the Mario Kart World Knockout Tour. That is the shit. So the way this is the one where it connects three different courses into one long track, and then as you're racing 20 players, as you reach different checkpoints, it's like, so it starts first. It's like you have to be a minimum of 16th above, or else you get knocked out. And then by the time it like knocks out players, and then by the time you get to the end, it's like down to 4 players, and then you're racing for first place. The tracks, obviously, once you add in 20 players, the width of the tracks is now so much wider than they have ever been before, simply because there's more players racing along and doing stuff.
So is it, because obviously it's set all in the same world, is it, they're always that wide, the starting levels, or are they changed because it is being played knockout? Or you can't say, because
no, like even when I wasn't playing, like it doesn't matter the mode, the tracks are just wider.
Just in general, tracks are
well,
wider.
it has to be. The track just has to be wider to incorporate 20 people.
Yeah. Like it's just the width of it is just, and you can tell straight away it's just wider.
No, but what I'm saying is like later in the race when it's like 4 races, are the
it's still wider,
skinnier.
No, yeah, it's just it doesn't change based on the amount of players.
It's always wider now.
Yeah, it's just the tracks. It's just always wider because of the amount of players that are racing. But it's not like empty space too. Like there's so much more. You know, like they had this in the previous ones, obviously, you know, the random shit like piranha plants or whatever sitting on the side and stuff. There's just so much random shit going on now, from cars racing backwards and forwards, characters running around, freaking dinosaurs stomping on a track that you're racing in between. You know, they're like, hey, if there was 1 piranha plant on this track back on the Switch one, we're going to put 3 here now. We're going to make them bigger because we can. You know, there's just shit going on everywhere. I think by the time you add in, also, you've got the flying stuff like you had in the last one. Now you've got the water stuff, which weirdly my mind went to, and this is how I'm going to describe it when I eventually sit down and write my article for it, that it reminded me of the Crash Bandicoot 3 warped jet ski levels, because the water just for some reason, and all the jet ski designs and stuff like that. But like there was a part where we like flew. I can't remember the track names at this point, obviously, but you know, I play as Cal every time. By the way, Cal all day, every day. Jumped into the, you know, we all jumped off. We got little hang gliders. We're flying along. Now I dove down into the water, transformed to jet ski. I'm skiing across on the right hand side of the screen. In the middle there is some road. There's a couple people on that in their carts. Off to the left there's more water. There's people like racing across there. So like there's just so much more happening that like you've got more terrain and stuff to be working with, that I think is super exciting. There's a few new power-ups and stuff. I don't think they've tweaked, like if you get pissed off with Mario Kartness, and by that I mean going from first to 18th because someone used a bullet bill at the last second, all of that still exists. It happened to me. I know, it's fine, I accept it. You know, I was coming first and then suddenly I got knockout bullshit because of like hit with something, get back up, hit by something else.
The thing is, the strategy would be to be like, keep your, like, it's an interesting strategy of like timing when you're first. Of like, it would probably be good you'd probably be okay if you were to chill out in the earlier knockouts in the mid pack and not be putting yourself first where you are at risk of copying everything in the world coming at you. Like it'd be interesting first.
I struggled to get into first. I'll tell you what. Like between the cow and then maybe I picked like one of the heavier carts. I'm not sure. I just picked the bullet bill shaped one because I thought the cow and that was funny. But I would be like I'm like going up. I'm in first and people are passing me and I'm like, go cow, cow, you're too heavy. Just the other funny part
is, who you were racing against?
Yeah, because it was there was one point there where Kieran, well played Kieran, was like in the same thing, a couple booths down from me. There's stuff, and I didn't realize what character he's playing, and then we got knocked out at the exact same time. This thing, I'm like, and then there was a guy commentating all day with a microphone, like esports and stuff. So he'd be like, "Oh no, Cal got taken out," and I just turned. I'm like, "Fuck!" He's like, "You were the Cal," and I can't remember who he was. It's like we realized that me and him had actually been like trading places. So that was quite funny. But yeah, shout out to that guy, by the way. He was all day just on this microphone, back and forth all day, being like, "And Cal takes everything, and Mario hits him with a fucking." I'm like, oh man, they really want to turn this this knockout into an esports is what they really want to do. 54 characters, by the way, is what I counted when I was flicking through the menu at the start screen. 54 characters. I don't know if they're unlocked from start. I haven't looked into what the basis that is.
How does the fish drive the cart?
I don't know. It's a good question. I didn't play as a fish. I played 3 times as Cal. I played 1 time as reporter lady girl. What's her name? From
Galaxy. The one with the blue dress, blonde hair.
The reporter.
Oh, I have no idea.
Like Pauline from
the
most recent one?
Yeah. I played 1 time as Pauline. There you go.
Odyssey, that's the game.
Odyssey, sorry. We're all fucking wrong. What are we talking about?
I thought you were talking about Rosalina. I was
no, not Rosalina. I know who Rosalina is. That's fine. No, Pauline. Yeah, the reporter girl. That one. Yeah, so look.
She's the mayor.
What?
Isn't she the mayor of New Dog City?
Is she the mayor? I thought she was a reporter.
She's a reporter in Galaxy.
Yeah.
And then she becomes the mayor in Odyssey.
Okay.
The law, man.
Wow.
The law coming hard. So Mario Kart's look, it's this point because people have been obviously it's what $120. Isn't that what the thing was? I think that was like one of the big everyone getting pissy because of the price point to the game things that we was talking about a couple weeks back.
Used to say.
Worth it. Like there's my if you're. And the thing is, most people are probably getting the Switch with this anyway. Like you're buying that bundle. Like that's the one I've pre-ordered, the Switch bundle thing. This is the game you'll be playing it. Like if you only played your Switch for a couple hours every weekend until Donkey Kong's out or some shit, you're just gonna be playing Mario. You're just playing Mario Kart and you're having a good time. You know, like I don't really. There's costumes now. Like not everyone looks the same. Like other than that, I would say, like. I don't feel like they've changed anything. It's still just obviously it's Mario Kart. It feels like Mario Kart. But then because of the hardware, I think you get improvements. Like, you know, it's at 4K and docked now. It looks great. It looks better than it's ever looked before. It's running at 60 frames. You can now, you feel like you're taking corners better because of that. You know, like I don't, like just because of the performance of the Switch, everything else just gets a tick up. All right, let's go through some other stuff for us. I'll be here for all day. Donkey Kong Bonanza. I didn't finish the demo because I got distracted by smashing everything. 10 out of 10 would do again. So this the demo starts, right? Comes out, it's very funny straight away. It was generally like one of those things where it just like puts a smile on your face because it's just like comes out, the camera like pans around to Donkey Kong like there, like big eye looking at a banana, and you're like, this is just wholesome fun. Let's just have some good time. And then it's just like you're in a mine and you got to chuck down these bananas, crystals, or whatever the hell they are. But then the problem with this game very quickly becomes you realize that you can just smash into a wall, up, down, whatever, and Donkey Kong's just beating that wall until he hits steel pretty much. So at that point, it just I don't like that that part of your brain that's like I want to just destroy everything in room. Do I need to? No. Is it making me feel something in my little gamer brain by destroying everything in this room? Yes. And the worst part was I thought I was playing on a surface. Like I thought I was just digging forward. And then there was a point where I accidentally jumped up into the air and like smashed the ground. And like I was like, oh, I can go down. So now I'm digging down. Now this flat plane's a square, you know, like I look over, I see some people at the end of the demo, like finding the rest of the bananas. I'm like, losers. You probably didn't realize you could go down. You just went forward like a
Terraria.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Minecraft.
Yeah. It's very cool though. Like, and again, I think it's obviously just I don't want to say Donkey Kong's a tech demo thing because it's not, but I feel like the tech helped them design it because they're like, we probably couldn't build a game like this where you're just smashing everything on the Switch. I feel like there's just a design point coming out of that, which is but that game, my very brief time, I need to see more, but I enjoyed it. Super Mario Party, so they had a demo set up where you could play all of the new mini games pretty much, and all of the new mini games were mouse mini games. So this is the first time I used the mouse. And
so I didn't use any of the camera ones?
They had that on the other side. I watched some people play that, but I didn't jump in.
Okay.
They were the Jamboree TV side of it, I guess. Yeah. So I was doing basically normal games, but specifically just the mouse ones. So I will have used the mouse again in a second, but I'll tell you right now, I was actually surprised at how. So first mini game, and they're some simple. I mean, to be fair, Mario Party has some simple mini games at times, like sort of rudimentary sort of stuff. It's like grabbing. It's like two was playing 2 players, so I just sat down at the table. I was playing with some lady, I don't know, and then like one of the people working there and this other dude, and it's like 2v2, and where like these things are coming across a conveyor belt, and then you're moving the mouse on the floor, and you're holding down a button to like spray paint them your color, and you're trying to spray paint more things your color instead of their color, and then every now and then you had to pick up the Joy-Con and like shake it, and of course you get that Rumble HD feeling it shake the spray paint can in there, and then there was another one that was like trying to build like the tallest tower. So it's like you're dragging your mouse up, you're clicking, which is a weird thing to say, but you're clicking and grabbing objects, and then they really wanted to, I guess, in this mini game, showcase how you could turn the mouse with your wrist and like rotate objects, and you're basically trying to stack blocks up and make a tower that way. Fine, whatever. I will say that transitions, I might as well jump from there to Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, because that was the other game I played with mouse controls. And as far they said, so sit down, it starts in mouse control mode. They said you could switch it if you want, but they always want you to start in mouse mode. I played the entire demo in mouse mode, and as I wrote in the chat, got told by the lady that I was the only person to beat the boss that she'd seen that day. So eat shit, gamers.
Did the shift just start?
How early? I was going to say, how early in the day were you when you beat?
I think I did this about 4:30. So
so you were late.
4:30. Okay. I was late. Right. Yeah.
You know what though? There's probably this is the thing, right? These people, these sharks in the water at Nintendo, they probably tell it to everybody.
They could do.
They probably tell it to make you feel real good. Because
I've real issues taking that compliment. I said, "Oh, nice," but then I did, as every time I walked past, my brain was looking at the screens, going, "No one else is beating the boss, are they?"
Exactly right.
Every single time I walk past, I was like, "No, that guy just died to the boss." Like, So I'll be honest. I think this is the way to play Metroid 4 Beyond. Which is insanity to be like, this mouse control shit actually works. So it, as silly as it sounds, and obviously if you play with mouse controls and own a PC, it is going to make perfect sense. But like so one of the Joy-Cons down, mouse, right? You're using the R button on that to click, right? So it's one button. I think maybe the other one works. I can't remember. I didn't use it. And then the other Joy-Con holding your hand and using the analog stick.
But isn't the Joy-Con too thin? Like, is it uncomfortable to sit it as a mouse for a long period of time?
Could be. I will say I could not say no, because of it, you'd need to test longer.
Yeah, for a long period. Yeah,
for the 15-20 minutes, I think I was using it. No issue. But that's such a very small test. I would say I definitely would. I think that's a fair worry to have, considering the The Joy-Cons are slightly larger than the old ones, though. Don't forget.
But even then, to set it up, like kind of, because do you have it? Sorry, how do you like? Is it like up on its like side?
It's like, do I have Joy-Cons in here?
Where's your current Switch?
Hold on, I think I have. Hold on. Let's grab a Joy-Con.
He's blowing the dust off his current Switch.
So that side with the buttons
is
down.
Yeah, okay, that's how I figured it would be. Yeah, that's what my problem is, right? It's like,
and that's obviously you
kind of like claw gripping it to kind of, but there's no substantial like.
I will say, what
you're saying is there's a potential market there for some ergonomic grips for yours to play mouse style.
100%.
That's copyright. Explosion Network Talk.
100% has already happened. I will say, putting this face down now, this being this, like feeling the size difference, I can already like, this wouldn't be as comfortable as the new ones. Having it be a bit longer did help it fit into the hand a bit better. Yeah. Okay, so are we going to play next level FPS shooter games on Nintendo Switch? No, wouldn't want to. However, I think with this game, and the way they've set it up and the way they still keep it within the confines of Metroid, it's very accessible and it sort of just works. And you can tell that they've even changed some things in the game or designed some things for the game to be played this way as the first and foremost choice. So, you're walking around with the left Joy-Con in my hand. You can hold down a button on the back of that. It locks you onto a character, like an enemy, like with a large reticle, I guess would be the word, large reticle. And then once it like locks you to that, and this is the stuff Kieran's going to hate because it's not pro PC gamer like stuff. It's like basically easy mode stuff. Because then you get the slight adjustment. So it sort of locks you to that. And then you're using the mouse to like do the slight adjustment to make sure you're hitting it. If that sort of makes sense? So you're not swinging around wildly like you would in an actual PC game, so you walk into a new area, you see an enemy in front of you, you press the left trigger on this Joy-Con, it locks you to it, then you do a slight adjustment of the mouse so you make sure you're actually hitting it, and then you move the mouse with it as the enemy's moving. But there's a lot of stuff here that makes it work. Then you can freehand shoot too. Like, I guess you could choose to play it on hard mode and not use the lock on, although the game is very obviously designed for everyone to use the lock on. It looked just quick. I know I'll say this for every game, so it feels redundant to say it this way. It looked great, fantastic, 4K, blah blah blah. It's still crazy to me to be playing like every single game, sit down and play it, and just be like, oh fuck it, this looks so good. Like, and obviously just in comparison to Switch, I'm not like, oh my god, the future of console gaming here. Like, that's not what we're doing. It's just in comparison to normal Switch, just being sitting down and being like, the evidence of it being in 4K is so substantial on every single time you sit down to play something. It was great. So playing that, then you'll get to like puzzles and stuff, where it would like you press one of the buttons to activate Samus's like visor, and you can like scan things in the environment. And one of the things is like, on this door, you have to lock onto the door. So you like lock on. And then while you're still locked onto the middle, you then have to use the mouse controls to aim to 1, 2, 3, 4 points and shoot them in quick succession to unlock the door. And I'm like, okay, so if you was playing this in normal mode, this would just be like, yeah, cool, whatever, sorry. But I'm like, that is a mechanic that's 100% been built with them being like, we want people to probably play this with the mouse controls. The weirdest thing though, and this is the part I don't know how it's going to work, is so they had just like blank, I guess, long mouse pads, sort of like I have at my desk currently, set up every single station where there was mouse stuff. I'm like, okay, so for homes now, where people that already have Nintendo Switches and they're getting ready and excited to play Nintendo Switch 2, do they A, have a coffee table like where they can even set up and do this, or B, going to change the setup for it? Nintendo is advertising that the mouse controls are so, like, it's so easy to use, you could just use it on your fucking lap if you want. No way that's going to work as well as actually having it on a table in front of you with a, like a non-dirty table. But I'm calling it right now, Nintendo's going to start selling mouse pads. That's good. That's going to be on there, which is such a weird thing to
Saying there's a market for like little tables to put on your lap.
A negative for where is there almost now too much going on with this console in terms of how where does one set up to play this?
Well, yeah,
because
that's the thing.
Yes, when Switch 1 came out, it was like you can do both. You can either on your couch or in handheld mode, and it was almost like they prioritized handheld mode over docking it in. But then now for people who are going to want to sit on their couch and play this game,
you can still play it normal though.
You can still play it normally, yes, but the optimal way that obviously the devs are designing the game to be played requires you to have a surface to be able to use the mouse on.
I don't know if they're designing it for that, considering that Metroid Prime 4 is also coming to the Switch.
But because Dylan said it feels like they've designed it as...
It feels like they've at least chucked in this particular mini game to show off the mouse controls.
I just feel like it's classic Nintendo having this gimmick mouse thing that they're like, yeah, we're going to use it here, but then at the same time it is... For 80% of its audience base is completely impractical to play that way.
And I will never get this from Nintendo because it's not them, but I would love 6 months after this game releases to get stats, X amount of people played it with mouse controls, X amount of people played it handheld, X amount used a pro controller. You know what I mean? That would be super interesting. Not that they would ever share that, but yeah, I mean, look, you can play this on your Switch, you can play this on your Switch 2, you can play it docked, you can play it handheld, you can play it mouse, you can play
Sounds like you should be able to play it on a PC.
You should just about. Nearly you can play it on PC. Yeah, it is very interesting. If I'm thinking now, I really enjoyed playing it with the mouse controls to the point that, and I think maybe part of it's just the gimmickiness of it, and I'm willing to admit that, but it was gimmicky and it was working, which is sort of where I can't fault it. Because when they announced this, I, like everyone, and I think I can speak for everyone here, was like, that is dumb. Why the fuck do we need mouse controls in the Switch 2? That is, there's no way that works, and there's no way they actually make games so that are interesting. However, playing it, I was like, this works. Weirdly, I'm shocked. This feels good. And because it felt good to play, it made me want to keep playing that, to the point that at any time I could have switched from the mouse controls, but I was enjoying it. So yeah. I didn't want to. So I'm sort of doing a 180 on my opinion of the mouse controls, at least in regards to what I've played and did they work in them, because they worked on both games I played and I quite enjoyed using them. And if I'm going to bring home Metroid Prime, and I'm going to want to play them with the mouse controls, because I was actually enjoying playing it that way, to be completely honest. I mean, it's a first-person shooter. I mean, it sort of just felt better playing it that way than the other choices I had. So, but even I'm trying to picture. I'm like, okay, so I set up my Nintendo Switch 2 in the lounge room. I'm going to kneel on the ground and set it up on my coffee table, I guess. There's still that part of working out where and how, or do I want to set it up here so I could just use my actual computer desk?
What you're going to end up doing is buying a second dock.
Well, yeah, probably, to be honest. Yeah. Second switch the setup. Plug in up here and then plug it lounge room. Yeah. You're 100% right. That's exactly what's going to happen. All right. Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Starcross World, that was great. It is more Kirby. I think out of all the re-release things they're doing, that one was my favorite, simply because I really like that game. And the DLC expansion thing they're doing is, hey, remember Kirby? Here's some more of it. Great. Thank you for that. I was playing with they had that set up on 2 consoles. I started the demo at the exact same. Kieran from We'll Play It Again, shoutouts, was playing next to me. He finished the demo, I feel 3-4 minutes ahead of me, because I cannot turn off Gamer Brain, and I had to find all the secrets and levels I was playing. And then I was like, man, I had to find and I did. I found them all because I had to. All right, getting to what you want to hear about. Ash, Nintendo Switch 2 World Tour.
Yes, finally.
It was hidden away, but release. It was there. Yeah. They had it set up on 4 switches there, all in handheld mode. Time. Funny enough, I think everyone was checking out for the memes, but Yeah. I know. I think I told. Who did I say? I told someone I played. They're like, did they charge you to play it? So I already told you the story, but for the context for the podcast, I start playing it. I get through a demo. Basically, the person there's like, "Oh, what'd you think?" I'm like, "Oh no, I just like read all these like how to play things. I don't know what I don't really understand what the game was. I just I read all these manuals. It's telling me about the HD rumble and whatnot. And then the guy's like, "Oh no, you needed to like walk to the other side of the Switch because obviously the game is like you walking across the Switch 2 to find stuff." And they're like, "Oh, at the time there was no one else in the line anyway." So they're like, "Oh, just have another go, play the actual mini games." So it's like, "Cool, thanks, man." So jumped into that. So the mini games, look, this thing's not worth $15, but most people are going to buy it anyway. I think because it's just going to be out of the
collector's item.
Yeah, they're just going to want it to play it. So I think there's a lot more mini games here, but it works basically in as you're walking around this like theme park area, you have to get stars. So there's like a third, second, and first place in each of the mini games. You get stars depending on what rank you get, and then they'll unlock more mini games, and they also unlock other areas of the Switch too as you're walking across it, and then there's more mini games there. So the couple ones I played, they're all designed around very specific features of the Switch 2 console. So like the two I played, and I probably could have played more, but again, my brain just cannot. I refuse to move on from the minigame until I got the high score. The first one was just using the mouse again. So they really want to show how well the mouse works. It's just you're controlling I don't know what it is, but you're controlling something on the screen and there's just like bombs falling down from the sky. So you're basically just moving your mouse like in and out of obstacles as they're falling infinitely from the top of the screen. And then you got to survive for, I think it was 40 seconds to get first place. And then the harder version of that was it's the same thing, except for you're trying to collect gold coins or something like that as they drop at the same time. Again, it works well. It does showcase like the mouse controls are very like precision. Yes, they work. And then the other one I did was it's to showcase the HC Rumble, where you're sort of you're moving the mouse left and right across the table in front of you, and you're feeling for the point where it rumbles the most in your hand, where you can feel the tension the most, and then you basically say, "Yep, this is where I feel it," and then it pops up where the highest rumble marker was on the screen basically, and tells you like you just basically have to get it as close to what the 100% rumble is. Yeah, and from what I can understand, the rest of the minigame is going to be just the same sort of stuff, just built upon the mechanics of the Switch 2. So yeah, again, if it was free, I would have no problem. I think I'll stand by $15 is it should just be included with the console. Rip. When I played the GameCube games, all I did was play Super Mario Strikers or Mario Strikers, whatever it's called. So that was fun. I don't really have anything to say about that much, but I did play it.
They have the GameCube controller.
They had the GameCube controllers. They felt like GameCube controllers. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't really know. The GameCube controllers felt like the GameCube controllers.
I mean,
got them.
There you
go. Drag and drive. This is actually pretty fun. I've got to admit. Yeah. I know I was memeing in our reaction video to the thing and said an unsavory joke maybe, but we'll leave that we'll leave that in the past.
Leave that in the past, yeah.
You can find it if you want. Drag and drive. So we actually did. So everyone like got put into. They had they had 2 matches set up going at the same time, basically. So you're on a team of 3 versus another team of 3, and they had it set up back to back. So try and do like competitive there with everyone there. So you'd run through and do a tutorial on how to play the game. And again, mouse controls, baby. So you put both the Joy-Cons down on the the table in front of you, and it feels good. Like again, I can't really complain about how it works, but you're to go forward, you're swinging those Joy-Cons, you're dragging them forward, lifting them up, putting them down, dragging them forward. Like you want to turn right, you're dragging left. Sorry, you're dragging your right one. You want to turn right, you're dragging your left one. You got to, and it took like when you're running through at the start, like the tutorial, and it's saying to, go through this race course and do all these sorts of things. Like there was several times until my mind sort of, once your brain adapts to how to actually do it, but there was a part there where I just kept heading towards walls and, I would begin to like try and go around a corner and just fucking start spinning off into the side and whatnot. Jump into the actual game. It's obviously it's wheelchair basketball is what the game is, with some element of Rocket League, I guess, because you can drive, like if you go super fast up the side of the court there, you'll just go up the side of the wall somewhat. It's like I was playing. It was fun. And again, I don't know how much of this carry through if you're playing by yourself or whatnot. Part of it was because like if I saw someone get the ball on the opposite team and they were on the other side of the desk setup or whatever to me, and I'd like fucking I was like, I'm gonna fucking charge this motherfucker, and I went full on, hit him the heads on, and I just heard someone from across go, oh. I was like, that's right, motherfucker, coming for you. And then, there was cool parts like grab the ball, and then like basically you, at any point, if you lift up like the right Joy-Con, it raises your hand in the game, and then you flick your wrist to shoot. It's like pretty simple enough. Like it tracks your wrist somewhat, I could tell. Like depending on your flick, if your flick's like slightly off, it'll sort of twist the ball, or you can get 3-pointer if you want. And of course, I was going for 3-pointers every time, and it feels good. Like if you race up to the thing, someone right beside you trying to get the ball, and you're like 3-pointer in, and then you can press the 2 back LR buttons to pass the ball as well, which felt good. At one point there was like 2 dudes chasing me, and I was like, these motherfuckers haven't figured out teamwork yet. So I passed the ball to my teammate who was waiting, and then they just scored a goal straight away. I was like, this is how you win. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. So yeah, that was actually sort of fun. I have no idea the longevity of that and how how it'll go, but as for playing it in that moment, I enjoyed it. All right, a couple of other games. These are all third-party stuff, so my opinions of all of this are pretty similar. So Cyberpunk 2077 will be the one game that I'm going to say, yes, it's impressive that that's playing on the Switch. It still didn't look very good to me. That's the one game
It's playing, it's just not playing well.
Like on the lowest possible PC settings.
Yeah, and this was... I saw someone playing it in handheld, and... like I didn't play it handheld, but I feel like maybe it looks better in handheld because of the screen and everything like that. But I was playing it docked, and it just looked bad to me. And I know like the people there that hired to obviously pitch all the games and stuff for Nintendo and stuff, they're telling me how great it is that it's running on this small console and it's a PC game and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't disagree. Like I guess it's cool that it's here, but unless this is your only option to play it, no, would be my answer. Like it was the only game that I can tell you that I legit played where most of the time I was sitting down to play things going, oh, this looks so pretty, this looks so much better, this looks great. That was the one where I was like, oh, no, that's ugly still. that's an ugly looking game right there. I don't even know if that's low settings. That's so yeah, whatever. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut looked good though. That's a less graphically intensive game or whatnot. Like it was running at 60. It looked to me exactly like it does like on anything current. Cool. It's there. It's got new content. Great. Hades 2 looked fucking great. It was running at 60. No complaints. This is the big thing, when we're talking about the last release of Hades, and Supergiant did this thing where they tried to team up well with Nintendo and whatever, but it's like, okay, but the game was playing at 30 and everywhere else it was playing at 60. So I understand they wanted to pair up with Nintendo because Nintendo Switch, especially during the time when they revealed it, was known as sort of the indie machine, and it made sense, but that was still like the worst way to play that game. I can safely now say I've played that game on my Steam Deck It was in my bag on my Steam Deck. It was on that TV. It played just as well. It played great. Like there was absolutely no difference between that and how I've played on my PC so far. So good shit. And then the last game I played was Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, which is an absolutely mouthful of title. I played this 10 plus years ago when it released on the 3DS. DS? Whatever it was. Yeah. One of the DS consoles. So I played it many, many moons ago, which a person asked me about, and they're like, "Oh, you're old enough to play it when it came out." And I'm like, don't you don't start a sentence where you were old enough. Like that is disgusting behavior coming out of your mouth right now. But yes, it looked really good. It like obviously it has all the original art from the game, and the art was made for a DS. But you can tell that they've put a lot of work into it, because if you just went to upscale that art that was made for like, you know, those tiny screens, it would look pixelated and disgusting as fuck. So you can tell a lot of work's gone into it, but still keeping the same art style. And then I just basically didn't do much of the story. I just did a little bit so I could see some of the cutscenes and the voice acting. I was like, yep, cool. This sort of triggers some memories for me. And then I ran outside and just did a bunch of encounters for 15 minutes to fuck around with the combat, because that game's combat's fun, where you can basically save. So you can default and like save moves by defending, and then you can unleash like 5 attacks in a row on enemies, which is cool. All right. Any questions? That's why Nintendo Switch 2. I'll say quick impressions, but
did you cancel your pre-order?
No.
Do you think it's worth the 500 and something?
It's subjective, isn't it?
The $699, yeah.
It's subjective. I think it's exciting. Everything is positive to me. I don't really have any. Like as to Kieran's point about what's the big game to get it for, I do think that is Mario Kart after playing it. However, I didn't think that was it before playing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like coming into the event, I would have agreed with you and said, hey, I don't think there's a big system day one launch here. Mario Kart looks cool, whatever, but I'm sure it's just Mario Kart. I think that's what my views would have been. After playing it, I'm like, oh man, this is so much better than like, yeah. It's one of those things of just playing
even if you're looking back at, like, technically the Switch didn't get a proper Mario Kart. It just got
it's just got a
remake of the deluxe version of the Wii U one.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of space and a lot of room for them to improve. But this problem is when you're relying on this game is the game to sell a system as long as the person plays it or sees it. You know, it's yeah.
It's hard. I'm wondering what they'll do for marketing. Especially, they're going to ramp up marketing. They played that. They showed that new trailer with Andy
and Patrick Trips. And
they showed that there to us, and then said, "Oh, this doesn't release until the end of the day, so please keep it under embargo." I'm like, "Yeah," because I'm about to play the Switch 2, guys. The last thing I'm going to do is whip out the laptop to fucking leak this fucking ad. Anyway, they're ramping up promotion. I mean, that ad, again, is still just targeting the fact that the very social element of the console, which I don't really know how that's going to go. You can tell that they really want to push this console as being like where you can play with your friends and use the camera, and then like the chat. We've got a dedicated chat function button now. Like they're going all in on the social interactivity of their console, which is very weird for Nintendo, and I don't know how that's going to go as a marketing move, but we shall see. I think that will most people need to buy this day one at launch, only if you're down to play Mario Kart. If not, wait, would be the advice, because then you've got what, another month until Donkey Kong. I think that's July, right?
I think so.
17th of July, yeah. So that comes out the month later. So if you're looking for like the first proper, like it's a 3D action game, right? So you got to wait a month until that. You know? At release, if you're not playing Mario Kart, you are playing
third-party games.
You're playing third-party or remastered Nintendo Switch 1 games. So yeah, if you answer the question of I hate Mario Kart, fuck that kart racing, you don't need a Switch 2 at launch. I think is the answer to that question.
It's interesting they didn't have any like current Switch games running on the Switch 2, just so you could like maybe do some sort of comparison.
I don't think that it's set up.
Or you don't think there's going to be any improvement? Yeah.
No, I don't think at this stage. And
outside of them just generally running better.
I think all Switch games, unlike PlayStation and Xbox games where you can get improvements based on the hardware, I reckon all Switch games are locked. Do you don't
think the most recent Pokemon games will run better on the Switch 2?
I'm going to say no. I think they're locked. I don't think the hardware's going to make any difference. Because this is the thing, right? So there are some games where people, like the PS5 Pro comes out, people try and play this old game. No patch. It runs better because the frame rate was left uncapped when they released it. So the hardware enables it to get better performance. But if every single Switch release has a capped frame rate, it doesn't matter how good the hardware is, it's still going to run the exact same frame rate.
But it'll be more consistent though.
Yeah, consistent 30 max. Which, I mean, would be an improvement for some games like Pokemon where it drops between 20 to 30, but yeah. A little bit disappointed they didn't have Pokemon there. I would have obviously liked to have seen that. But the new one, which, I mean, though, to be honest, now having experienced and seen that, yes, the Nintendo Switch 2 can do 60 frames per second, there is no that game, I'm telling you right now, that game is going to run like trash on Switch like we all expect, and it's going to run really well on the Switch 2. Now, it is still a Switch 1 game, so I'm not, when it comes out, and I've said this already, so it's not new news, Kieran is not allowed to rate that one as his Nintendo letting him down. That's the next Pokemon game, the next like proper Switch 2 game. That's the one we're judging the future of the Pokemon franchise on. This one is still nice to know that when this comes out with Switch 2, I'll have a better experience than playing on the Switch 1, just because it won't run like ass. So yeah. All right. Well, that's that. Yeah, look out exposure.com. I'm going to write up little short previews going over everything I just
Did you get anybody else's opinions when you're there?
Everyone's positive. I mean, the general vibe, very positive. I know some people started putting up articles. I haven't looked at anyone else's yet, but I mean, I know Kieran Well Played was having a great time. You know, he was enjoying all the stuff I saw him playing. Drew, from what I saw, was enjoying. Like Paul, I didn't actually see Paul. I didn't catch up with Paul after to ask him how he thought, but everyone seemed to be having a good time. I will say one quick note that annoyed me but was a positive to me. So they had the consoles on 15-minute timers, right? So that means you play for 15 minutes, it would automatically come up with a screen that says thank you for playing, and it rebooted the whole console ready for the next person. But if you left the console early, it meant that when the next person started, they're already 5-6 minutes into the timer. Now, the way this worked in a positive for me was after my first two games, Donkey Kong and Mario, fine, didn't have this issue. Every game thereafter, I always got extra time because I would play about 5 to 6 minutes. It would kick me off and the person would go, oh, crap, sorry, that must have been because the person before you. But it meant that I got another 15 minutes. So every single game, I played at minimum 20 minutes because I got to reboot back into it.
That's a bit worrying if people are leaving every single game like 5-6 minutes.
I guess that'd be those people
worrying about. Are they not interested?
I can tell exactly who it is, but it was driving me up the wall.
It'd be those people from your targets, that probably aren't wanting to spend their entire day there, probably wanting to bail, get through it, see everything, and then leave. I'm guessing.
I mean, it could have been. That's not the type. That's not the people I saw.
That's not the type that you saw.
No. I may have seen.
Was it one of those type of people who are there for like clicks or something? Like,
yeah. Like,
okay.
There's a lot of content creator infilluencer types.
A lot of fake gamers is what you're saying?
Yeah. No.
Are those the words that are coming out of your mouth? Fake gamers all over the place?
No.
Infiltrating?
No. They just got their 2-minute video of them playing it and then they fucked off. But that's fine. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, they don't need any journalistic integrity.
No. All I'm saying is it was very weird to me because I'm like, you're here to play the Switch 2, like just play the fucking Switch 2, right? But then
there's only so many games. Like,
yeah. At the same time, I'm like, it sort of worked out for me because I'm not even exaggerating. Every game after those first two. To the point that at the end of the day, the last few games I jumped on, when it happened and the person said, "Oh, sorry," I went, "This has happened to me for the last 2 hours." Like, I was just like, this is my life now. This is totally fine. It's all good, man. It's all good. Whatever. Good stuff. Let's kick it off with Death Stranding 2. Got a bunch of preview events. People got to play 30 fucking hours, which is insane. Got they were in Japan.
It didn't sound like anybody finished the game.
No one finished the game. So they were allowed to pay 30 hours, which worked out to, from what I understand from reading, I've read a few previews and I listened to Kind of Funny's thing as well. 40% is what they were allowed to play for.
Jesus Christ.
40% of the game. Everyone loves it, I think. Well, at least anyone I've looked at or read or listened to loves it, says it's fantastic. 10 out of 10, most notes there. The most exciting and wild thing that's come out of all this is the news that the game is primarily set in Australia. Because reasons. Which is very funny. So apparently the game starts and is like, it's in America, and then I think Fragile sends
Mexico, right?
Yeah, Fragile sends Sam to Mexico for the prologue. Something happens, because of course everyone's like dodging spoilers and whatever. So you go to Mexico for the prologue, and then after that you're sent to Australia, which is where the rest of the game is. So I don't really want to break down much of the Death Stranding preview stuff, because look, to be honest, I love the game. I can't wait to play it. I'm very excited. 10 out of 10. I haven't played it. I'm just reading everyone's answer. But how do we feel about this game being set in Australia? Is that what?
Kojima
weird?
loves Australia. Australia might not love Kojima, but
Kojima's, I'm sure he loves all those like B movies that we've made, he's like a Quarantino kind of guy.
I thought he was setting it here because of the warm reception he got at RTX 2017. But
exactly.
Maybe 100%. Like all the forced clapping that we did.
All the fuck Konamis that.
Yeah, fuck Konamis. He appreciated that, and now it's set the Death Stranding 2 in Australia. I'm sure it's just because of the the geographical layout of the country.
In an interview, I can't remember who's or where I saw it, but someone did say he answered it with basically he was trying to think of what country would suit his plans for the game more or less, and he said Australia was the one he thought of that would make more sense. So
yeah, I mean it's like that or Europe.
He didn't want a large. He wanted a connected landmass, but also not as huge as America or something that I'd like. Yeah, so that's how he ended up in Australia. Now, I'm going to say right now, I'm excited. All right, Australia. Apparently, there's Australian characters in it that they're speaking. Like, obviously, the people you're dropping off the packages to are Australian. Every Australian outlet I've seen has said the Australian accents aren't shit and Australian writing isn't shit. So that's a good sign so far. That's also the reason that George Miller is the basis for the captain. Obviously, makes perfect sense now. The game's got quackers in it. Makes perfect sense now. Now, there's a lot of talk around Victoria, Queensland, WA. Is Tasmania gonna be in Death Stranding 2? No, I'm asking the questions that no one else is willing to ask. Kojima, would you fuck me like that?
Yes, he would.
Yes, he would.
How are they meant to get to Tasmania?
You telling me?
No, Tasmania's taken over. It's in the water. Global warming.
Tasmania. Actually,
all the shadow things,
I'll accept it if I find some secret audio log and they're like, "Oh, Tasmania went under in the years," and I'll be like, you know what? At least it was. If
Tasmania's mentioned at all.
I need a mention of Tasmania. If they just choose to do that thing like some people do in America, where they do Australia and they draw this and leave out this, that's it. Kojima's dead to me. Death Stranding, 1 out of 10.
Whoa.
Going back. Fuck the game, I say. Forget every good word I ever said about Death Stranding 1. It's personal now, Kojima. Fucking can include quackers, but can't include Tasmania.
Yeah, Rottnest Island is a part of Australia.
Yeah, what am I?
Not Tasmania.
Fucking hell. Oh dear. Has anyone else read or seen or listened to anything about the game? Has it changed their keenness level or?
No, I've kind of been avoiding it just to be surprised. Okay. I guess
I just need it to do well for me in Fantasy Critic.
I think based on everyone's previews, you'll
it might be a safe bet. Kieran might be coming from behind, based on your preview for that and your discussion about Mario Kart.
Apparently it's got a lot more action in it, which is interesting. So still delivering.
Well, I'm sure it's going to take more inspiration from the director's cut, which was
so
more action based, right?
So is the director's cut better? Like, because I've had like the half thing to be like, I should attempt to play it again.
Yeah, director's cut adds more weapons, changes something, adds the roads in, add the vehicles in, like makes it easier to get around, makes the combat a bit better, you know.
Sure.
So, but it is still that thing. Like in this, I know people have talked about. It's like there's a lot more combat, but it's still like non-violent combat because, of course, the game is if you kill a body, it can cause a whatever the thing in it, like
whatever
you can't, the event that happens in the world where shit happens. But yeah, very keen for that. All right, Grand Theft Auto.
So, which beach do you think they're talking about in the? Is it Bondi? Or?
I think it's Greens Beach down here in Tassie.
Fucking no.
I just know that I'm currently the only. There is no way I'm not currently the only podcast
host
that's talking about Death Stranding, talking about Tassie. It's the only thing I've got going for me currently.
So I mean, is it our patriarchal duty to pick up Death Stranding when it launches? You know. Yeah,
I think
you need to support games set in Australia.
Kieran, you gonna play Death Stranding?
Think of all the promotions on the. We've got so many beaches in which to do promotion.
Yeah, I believe I'll end up playing it. I think it's just kind of. I feel like it's a game where either I end up playing the first one or I just end up watching a cut of the of the game.
You're not playing it.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah. Okay.
No way.
Or I just watch a cut of the game and then.
Why do they do that?
And then play it because I feel like it's going to be one of the touchstones of, especially like this year now without GTA 6. I think it's going to be a very important game in the large scale of things.
I think currently this game, based on all the positive press and how good the first one was, this game's currently going to be a game you contender easily. So yeah,
it's not so far away. It's like
it's only a month
end of next month.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yep. Well, and then Kojima also admitted he moved the release date out of fear of GTA 6. So yeah. So talking about GTA 6 though, so trailer has come out, new release date, obviously, and all that sort of stuff. But everyone's watched the trailer. I assume a million times at this point. It was running in game on a base PS5. So everyone knows before we dive into it, that was part of the. I know as soon as the trailer dropped, everyone that's there talking about the actual trailer was just talking about what was it running on? I thought it was a cool trailer. I liked it. I like the vibes. Obviously, it sort of tracks the story of I can't remember the characters' names. Doesn't really matter. But you've got
one of them's Jason, right?
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Mia and Jason.
Sure, let's go with that.
I think
and
so.
If we're wrong, we're wrong. So it sees, like Jason, like bumming around at the start of the game, and then he goes and gets some bond money basically, and gets his Mia out of prison, and then
Jason
from that,
and Lucia.
Close enough.
Oh,
Jason and Lucia. And then the rest of the game they're fucking around doing crimes and sex and stuff. Game set in Vice City, very cool. I'm pretty keen for this, and I'm going to say this as someone who
completely
notoriously
missed and
has not played
dodged 5. Yep.
But was it like all kids? Was a huge GTA person growing up, obviously, and Vice City was my first. GTA.
You know how it's like? I was listening to a video essay recently about Vice City and how fucking insane. Like that game was made in 6 months. That game was like initially meant to be DLC for GTA 3 or like the equivalent of like an expansion for GTA 3. Like we would. It's unimaginable that would be a thing nowadays.
Definitely not, considering the main character in 3 doesn't speak and the main character in Vice City does. So
yeah,
like even that's like a huge difference.
It's it's fucking insane.
Yeah. So I really like Vice City. I really like because it's especially Vice City, the game, very obviously was inspired by Scarface, a movie which, like most kids, I feel like also, or maybe not, well, at least, I don't know. Most kids who like movies, I love that movie as well. So between like loving that movie and then the playing the game, I was like, just overall love the vibes of that one. So that was always my answer to when people say, most people I would say, favorite GTA, everyone goes San Andreas. I've always been a Vice City person, but I've played every Grand Theft Auto other than 5. Is the weirdest things. I have played 1, 2 PS1 games. I've played 3. I've finished 3. I've finished Vice City. I've finished 4. I've finished both the Stories games. Actually, no, I didn't finish it, but I've played Chinatown Wars on the DS and whatever. 5, don't know. Didn't happen. Just, whatever. So I'm sort of more keen for this one for the setting, to be honest. And also the story potentially looks a little bit more like character driven. I think relationship between two characters driving it is somewhat more interesting to me than some other stuff. But yeah, I really, really like the trailer. Kieran, what'd you make of the trailer?
I think the trailer looks great. I think it looks fantastic. It looks amazing. There's a lot to dive into and dig into if you're kind of one of those people that loves Easter eggs and likes kind of dipping into things. I'm just really excited about this central love story to this game and like the potential for where it could go. We're going to be playing as both these characters. Could it be a bit like A Way Out in terms of like, could there be a betrayal in this game? I think, I'm really excited to see the story for this game and kind of, and Vice City is such an amazing setting with so much character that's unlike any other setting that's been explored recently in GTA or anything of the recently fucking 13 years ago. It's going to be, I'm really excited for it overall.
Ash, I can't remember how much.
I played 5. I played San Andreas. I never played 4 or Liberty City.
Yeah, okay.
So, it looks incredible. Like it's looks so good that it's hard to tell when the gameplay stops and when the cutscenes begin, which,
I think there's some of those cutscenes look like they phase into gameplay.
Yeah, totally possible.
Like during
their wording is equal parts gameplay and cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this seems like it's going to have a really, really strong narrative at the core of it between these two lovers and like probably inspired by the work they did on the Red Dead Redemption 2 more than GTA 5, I would imagine. So, it all looks incredible. Cool setting, looks like a bunch of fun characters, and also a lot of the humor that you would expect from these kind of games. And it also looks like sexy. They're like a lot of focus on butts and just like intimacy and all that kind of stuff.
It's Vice City. It's meant to be.
It's an adult game.
It's Miami. It's It's fucking bikini bods 24/7, 365 days a year. So.
Yeah, very exciting. Probably will be doing, I assume, like the dual narrative thing that they did in 5.
Well, that's the thing. I don't like. What are we picking between the characters, or what? Like, what do we?
You'd be switching between them. There'd be different things.
Switching.
Like it'd be like There'd be like for Lucia. Obviously, we saw like the hints of her doing like community service and stuff. There'll be stuff specifically for her. There'll be stuff specifically for Jason. I'm guessing if we're going down the heisting route again, much like GTA 5, there will be different elements of preparing for bigger missions that either character will have to do, that you'll have to switch between the characters to get things set up and get things sorted.
I think I should play 5 before this.
I think you should.
I think you should dabble. Yeah.
Because I think 5 will give you a good understanding of what they'll do for 6.
Yeah. I think you'll really enjoy it until you start having to play as Trevor.
Yeah. But then I think you'll see the satire and irony of Trevor, and then
I feel like I could commit to it, at least a dabble. I could, commit to a dabble. What's the new release date? May something, right? Next year? It's like a year away now. 12 months, right?
May 26th.
May 26th, there we are. Yeah. I could commit to a dabble. All right, last news story for the week. So Mafia Old Country's release date has been revealed alongside a cheaper price point, right? Press start. 2K's today revealed that Mafia Old Country released on August 8th for PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC. Standard edition of the game will go for $89.95. The game is set. Fuck, what? Like 1900 Sicily, of course. Now I know that. I know. I'm leading to Ash in a minute because I actually forgot about this trailer dropping and haven't watched the trailer yet as much.
Same for me. I have not watched this trailer.
But I'll say I was reading the other day, probably after the trailer drops, but before I've actually watched it, that they were saying that the game's not open world anymore, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I appreciate the commitment to just doing stuff. Ash, tell me about it. I'm going to watch the trailer on mute.
I mean, obviously, it is like the origins of the mafia. Like, I don't think there's much of that in the trailer. The trailer is a little bit more of a gameplay kind of trailer, and you get glimpses of like some shootouts you're going to be involved in, and like fucking horse chases and car chases through, I guess, Sicily, taking down the enemies of your mafia group, I guess. But I was definitely getting like Red Dead vibes from it. So I mean, that's very impressive for this kind of series. But yeah, they've specifically, I believe, the developers have come out and said it's going to be a shorter experience than you would probably expect from a mafia title. So probably also explaining like the lower price point as well, which, you know, could be a help considering the price of everything at the moment and the price of other video games. So yeah, I'm pretty keen. I'm even like maybe I should dive in. You know, those mafia definitive editions have come to PS Plus. You know, maybe.
Have you played any of the Mafia games?
No, I haven't. You know, so, yeah, very cool setting. Like, obviously, Italy. Everybody's got the like Italian accents. I hope there's like a version of this that is like
fully Italian.
Yeah, like they've been doing with a lot of the Japanese games. You know, so in Japan, like have a Japanese.
They treat Japanese people with more respect than American Italians.
Than Italians, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
looks
cool.
good. I just watched the trailer. So, I mean, it looks like generally looks good. Character models all look good and everything. But I mean, combat showed them mostly just fighting, I guess, police.
I know other factions, I guess. You know.
Yeah. I'm definitely keen about that. You know, I know that some people get annoyed. It's like, oh, you know, it's a smaller, shorter experience. It's not open world and all stuff. And I'm like, yes.
As you get older, the more you realize you want those shorter.
Yeah, give it to me now. Although, so I really liked so I played Mafia 2 and 3. I haven't actually played 1. I missed that on. I think that came out on PS3, and then that's probably why I missed it. And then, but I played the ones on PS4. I was a really big fan of 3 as much as people dislike that one, and I really loved 2 as well. So I'm pretty keen for this. I actually found the other day from my collector's edition for 3. It came with little set of coasters, and I was like, well, I actually need new coasters, so I'm using those now. So come to my house, you're using Mafia 3 coasters, just so everyone knows. All right, finally for this week, Doom: The Dark Ages.
What? Review. Huh? You've got to talk about Doom, the Dark Ages as well? What a
Dark
podcast.
Ages of Doom?
Yeah, Dark Ages of Doom. This is so... I'll say... Look, this game is Doom, right? Love it. 10 out of 10. Actually, I don't know my review score. I only finished it. I stayed up to 2 a.m. last night finishing it. The game is so much longer than I thought it would be, to be completely honest. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it was longer than I thought it would.
You were like, hey, I'm going to get this knocked out tonight. It should be simple. Should be fine. And then it's like, oh my God, it just keeps going. But and I've committed myself to finishing it, so I have to finish. Yeah, I get that.
And not in a like, I'm so sick of this game. I'm just like,
Bruv, I wanted to go to bed like 2 hours.
yeah. That was me last night. So, so I need to get my review banged out. But I mean, overall, very positive. It is. So this game has the most story of any and all Doom game, which is very weird. Which I'll come back to simply because I didn't really care, and I still don't really care. Like, I do appreciate it. So let's just talk about the stuff that we're here for, which is the combat. So this is set in this is a prequel to Doom and Doom Eternal, set before those, but still, I guess, technically after the other Doom games. But it's like, so in this one, it's the battle of angels, the forces of good versus hell sort of thing still. But because it's the Dark Ages, our Doom Slayer has a fucking shield, and the shield is very cool, as with all the other weapons in this. So I think there's, from what I could tell, and I could be wrong, I should double check this, but only 2 of the weapons are the same from the last two games, and every other weapon I'm pretty sure is new. So the shotgun and the super shotgun, they don't. Slight spoiler, I guess. They don't have the BFG in this. They've got something that replaces it as well, which is interesting. So they're doing all sorts of weird stuff. It is combat wise, and if Eternal was like, you know, you're constantly using the grapple hook to like pull yourself towards enemies and be on the move consistently and whatnot. This game is sort of, and this is as redundant as the thing as I could say, but I'm going to say it anyway. This game is like, let's attempt to make Doom into like a crossover between a Souls game. And I'm not saying that as like a difficulty thing, but like it felt like at times playing a first person Souls game, because it is honestly, most of the combat is now around shooting and countering. So like enemies will spray out bullets and it'll be like red bullets everywhere, and you're sort of like pacing yourself like, and he moves fast like in all the Doom games. Like your character, there is no run button. You just like, there's only one speed the character moves at. You're like pacing yourself in and out the bullets. Green bullet comes out, or green projectile of some sort. They're the ones you can parry back at the enemies. So the whole combat is now built around, you're still moving a lot because you got to move so you don't get hit. This is, Doom games aren't stand behind cover and shoot. And that's when you see people play these for the first time, and they're trying to play them like Call of Duty and stand behind cover and shoot. That's like, you're playing it wrong. You got to move. You got to get around, get out there, mate. So you're moving a lot still, jumping around and all that sort of stuff. But like as you're shooting enemies around you, you're now constantly on the move for, projectile, counter that. Enemy just leapt at me from over above. Quick, parry him, shoot him. Oh, there comes someone. Parry, shoot. Like you're just consistently like using the shield and parrying and shooting and going on like that. There'll be enemies, and it's that thing, like it sounds like so much, but once your brain just clicks, it feels so fucking good to play. And you'll just be moving in and out of enemies and areas as you feel fit. But there's also like enemies will have their own shields, and there'll be like a row of like say 10, 15 of them, and then you can like shoot one of their shields so it lights up red, and then you can throw your shield at it and like causes all of them to explode into a fucking line of just body debris everywhere. So it's like parry, shoot, fucking throw shield, go this, switch to a different gun, parry, shoot. Like it just, yeah, it feels fantastic when you're like in the zone playing it. And I know I'm just saying, like, I'm pretty sure this is longer than the last Doom games. I don't get sick of it. Like the combat is they have like, it just has the juice when it comes to making shooter games feel great. I know a big question everyone's going to be the soundtrack. Obviously, Mick, fuck, what am I meant to make on his last name? Mick, fucking hell. What's his last name? Doom composer, Mick Gordon. Good lord, my bad. So Finishing Move does the soundtrack on this one. They have in the last couple of years done the Callisto Protocol, Borderlands, a couple of things. It's fine. Like it is. It sounds really mean to say, but it is really like a cover band version of. Like you could tell they were given the task of, hey, can you do like the Doom soundtrack? And we need like the heavy metal stuff that was really good, but they just don't have that same level of, I guess, either the passion for it or understanding of it or whatnot. And also just I think this the mixing isn't quite there. The way like the especially Doom 1 back before all the trouble with the Eternal. Just that soundtracks and playing that game, like the mix with the songs being as good as they were and the way they came in and out of combat and everything, like that's part of the reason that game soundtrack is so well beloved. Here, it's just sort of like, yeah, they're like heavy metal tunes that kick in. And you're like, it's there. Like I never once felt a moment where the music like amped me up as I have in the previous games. But yeah. So that's a little bit disappointing, but nonetheless. So this one is also, what was the other thing I was going to say? What was the other main thing? Oh, so you've got the Atlan and a dragon, I think. So Atlan, well, let's just call it that. It's a mech and a dragon. So to break up the combat, and this is where I feel like some people may get annoyed at it. I personally don't have too much of an issue with it, but because they don't overdo it. So I think all in all, there's 22 levels in the game. I think there was 3 times I jumped into the mech, if I was jumping off the top of my head. So they're very much let's just break up the.
It's like the old school, like they used to do it in games like Ratchet and Clank or like fucking like the old school, like kind of mid 2000s. They'd give you like a fucking racing fucking level or a random.
You do a few levels of like you're maybe you just finished a boss fight. They're like, here's the mech level now, sort of thing. And they're fine. They definitely don't overstay their welcome. There's not much to them to the point that you could ever want them to overstay their welcome. It's very much like you jump in the mech. It's kind of cool because you're doing these massive fights against these huge ass demons, but it is just like you can punch them, you can dodge, and then you can use a super attack. Like they're not designed to be anything more than the very short levels and play out the way they are. But it's fine. It looks cool. Doesn't take much time. The dragon stuff is a mix between. So I think it is about the same amount, maybe 3 or 4 dragon levels in the game as well. They are a mix between normal gameplay and dragon stuff though. So basically, and I guess the main negative for this is they didn't change up what you're doing with the dragon with any of the levels. It's always the same thing, which is you go into the level, you can fly around in this sort of area, and then there's like gunships and stuff around. And then you have to go into a fight with the gunship on the dragon, dodge its attacks, shoot out all its turrets, and then eventually cause it to crash. Once it crashes, you can then click a button to land onto the ship, and then you go down there as normal Doomslayer, and you play through like the next 10-15 minutes until you get what you need off that ship. Jump back on the dragon, do that for another like 2-3 gunships. That's sort of the level. So, but the problem is that each of the other 2-3 dragon levels were the exact same thing. It's just like take down ships, do thing, blah blah blah. They're sort of fun. I mean, like I did the optional stuff to help break it up. Like you could optionally chase around these other creatures to get like the collectibles in the levels and stuff. So maybe I didn't find them. Maybe they didn't bore me out as much because I was breaking up my own time. I also the other big thing for this game in particular that I wasn't too sure how it would go, but I ended up liking is they're not all the levels, but I'd say probably, I don't know, like half, maybe a bit less than half of the levels. They're not open world, but they open up. So there's a lot of optional stuff that you can do in them. They're not just corridor shooters anymore. You can open up the map and be like, there's a thing over here, I can go do that, or I can go straight to objective. So I think also part of the reason it took me so much longer to beat the game than I thought it would be is because I was definitely I think I've nearly got the platinum. Like I've missed a couple of the secrets as I was playing through, but I would open up the map and it would be like objective over here, and I'd be like, yeah, but 3 shiny things over here, like let me go see what's happening over there. It'd be like optional side boss that gives you like health upgrades and stuff like that, and which, to be honest, I can't imagine if you beeline through this game and you got fuck all of the upgrades for your weapons and your health and armor and stuff like that. I'm sure it'd be a lot harder by the time you get to the end. But by the time I got to the end of the game, I was like, man, the last the last 2 boss fights are pretty piss easy, to be honest. But I was also like, I had fully upgraded armor, health. I think I had nearly all my weapons bar 2 fully upgraded by that point because I'd been spending all this extra time getting all the collectibles and upgrades and stuff. So, bees, me. But that stuff's kind of cool, like, because you will literally come around a corner, like, especially when you compare it to Doom 1, where it's like mostly corridor shooter, more that sort of design, and you'd walk into a room and sort of briefly get your idea how you scope your way around that room to take out all the enemies. In this one, when you're walking around some of these more open areas, you could be like, you hear and see nothing, like there's no enemies around, you're just like sort of moving through an area. You come around to the edge of like a cliff face and you just look down and you see like 50 enemies. And this game has like a shit ton of enemies in it, but it's very cool. Like you look on top of this cliff face and you just see goons down there, fucking massive, like all sorts of mini enemies and stuff. But instead of like stopping like you wouldn't any other game to, like if you want to compare this to a traditional shooter, you're like, man, I'll pull out my sniper rifle and I'll pop off some headshots from here. It's like you see a bunch of 50 to 100 enemies below you or whatever. It's like, no, I'm jumping off this cliff. As I land, because they make sure that the Doomslayer feels like a tank at all points in this game. You land from any jump. You don't take damage. You cause all the enemies around you to take damage. You cause like a ripple effect. You land with like Avengers level superhero fucking landing and damage everyone around you. So it's like land, damage them. Oh, you can also press a button in this game to like lock onto an enemy and like basically, I don't know how exactly it works, but it's like you throw your shield and go with it, sort of like fucking Thor throwing your hammer and going with it sort of thing. So it's like land, kill all the enemies around you, fucking throw yourself at an enemy halfway across the thing, begin shooting him. Shit feels good, man. I know what to tell you. Yeah, story, whatever. I'll touch on the story a little bit in my full review, but it's for people who want more Doom lore, it's here. I've just never particularly cared because it's like whatever. But there's a king of the humans. There's a commander. There's like a prince of the demons. Stuff happening. I don't know. You know, all I know is I'm a fucking badass and they're calling me down to save the day, and that's all I need to know. You know, what more do I need to know in these games? Is what I'd say. But yeah, look. Before I even write my review, the score is going to be somewhere between 9 to a 10. Like, this is another very similar to Doom Eternal. It's going to be one of my favorite games I played this year. I'd be hard pressed not. These as far as like, just do you want to feel like a fucking badass first person shooter? These Doom games, the last 3, this one and the 2 previous, they're just, you know, they're fancy trips, which is always shocking to me why Kieran doesn't play them. But anyway.
I like story. I like reason. Maybe this is the thing, right? Maybe this is the one that'll click for me because I like the idea. Like the thing that pulled me when I watched the trailers for Dark Age was like, there's a reason to go off the beaten path and to explore and to exist in the world, other than just running through everything, shoot, and then you're done. Like, I don't know. It was just mindless and kind of directionless a lot of the time for me.
There's literally a cutscene.
That sounds like what Dylan likes about it.
Yeah, 100% it is. Because I know I don't need to know anything. It's like it's just like the starting cutscene, just like the humans getting their ass kicked by demons, and then you know some characters like, I think we should call him in, and then like the music starts kicking in, and they like cut to a ship with the fucking Doomslayer like on it or whatever, and it's like and they fucking send him in. That's all I need, man. I don't know who they are. I don't care. They sent me in. I'm here to kill the demons. Simple, you know. Fucking the first game, I have no idea what the story was in that, but loved it. Wake up. They're like, you've been asleep for 1,000 years, Doomslayer. I'm like, all right, cool story. Anyway, demons. Bang. You know, what we need to know. Yeah. You should definitely. Well, I mean, it's going to be on Game Pass, so give it a go, I feel. Give it a go when it comes out this week on 15th, Thursday. Yep, there we go. Yeah, there is so much more story to this to the point that I can't say what, obviously, this is what I was listening. There is a moment where I'm like, you're attempting to have me have feelings about the Doomslayer currently. For 5 seconds, I'm like, this game is attempting to have players feel something towards this character. And I just said, pick up your fucking gun and let's get back to work. Stop fucking sulking.
Wow.
All right? Pick up your fucking gun. That is not you, mate. That is not you.
Masculinity right there.
Yeah. Doomslayer is epitome of male masculinity. It's a dude with a gun. He is here to shoot things and not take names. To heavy metal music. I will say also to the point of like the soundtrack, I just realized this without even like click onto it as I was talking about before, but then I just looked at one of my tabs. Before we started recording the podcast, I was sitting here and I had on the Doom 1 soundtrack. So I finished Doom the Dark Ages.
It's like, I want to listen to...
When that was a good game, but I want to listen to the better version of the music. So I put on the 2016 soundtrack, which is still banger. Absolute banger. That makes you want to punch someone's dick off. I tell you right now, that soundtrack does. Right off. Send that dick flying. You know what I mean, Ash?
No.
Are you trying to screen share something?
No, I was trying to see if I could fix the fucking... I was trying to see if I could like fix the fucking like the angle. So I put it onto the screen. I'm like, I can see so much more of Dylan's like room when I have the monitor, like the webpage like on my vertical screen. Like I can see all your like Magic the Gathering folders. Like, sorry, it was very much an ADHD moment of just like clicking things that I didn't need to.
That's fine, man. You do.
It was very much I chanced it over by accident and then went, holy fuck, you can see so much more of Dylan's room in this webcam. What the fuck?
It's true. On that note, I think that's about it for this week's episode of Arcade Couch. Thank you very much for joining us. Let us know if you want to see more of my Magic the Gathering cards over on our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord, our Bisky page, at explosionnetwork.com on Blue Sky, and any of the Explosion Network socials. Check out the website, explosionnetwork.com, and let us know any other thoughts, feelings, concerns you've had about anything we discussed this week. What do you want to know about the Nintendo Switch 2? Does it need a SSD? No, you're correct. You're totally.
There's no reason not to.
No. Until next week, same time, same couch. Goodbye.